Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Today we're going to look at the Batman supervillain, the Scarecrow.
There's nothing to fear but fear itself.
The Scarecrow debuted in 1941. He made his second appearance in 1943. He didn't make another appearance until 1967. Despite the fact that the Scarecrow is one of Batman's most popular villains and was one of the main antagonists in Batman Begins, he was absent entirely for the comics for 24 years. And that is the first fact about the Scarecrow. Let's dive in. The Scarecrow debuted in World's Finest Comics number 3 in 1941. The story was called The Riddle of the Human Scarecrow. His real name is Jonathan Crane. The character was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Robinson. Jerry Robinson co-created Robin and the Joker. Bill Finger and Bob Kane created Batman. He was unloved by his mother and abandoned by his father. He was cared for by his grandmother for most of his youth. Anytime Crane disobeyed his grandmother, she locked him in an abandoned church for hours where he was attacked relentlessly by crows. This forced him to develop ornithophobia, which is a fear of birds. Crane eventually learned why he kept being attacked by crows. It turns out his grandmother poured a special liquid on Crane's clothes that attracted birds. Over time, Crane figured out how to make the same liquid that his grandmother made. He developed it into his most iconic weapon, his fear gas. To see if the fear gas worked, he used it on his grandmother. To Crane's satisfaction, the gas literally scared her to death. When he was a child, he was mocked relentlessly for his bony appearance and was compared to Ichabod Crane, the lead character in Washington Irving's story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. When Crane was a professor, he was mocked for his poor dress sense. The reason why he didn't have any money for clothes was because he spent his cash on books. He was obsessed with phobias and bought every book he could find about fear. When Crane worked as a teacher, he wanted to show how people reacted to fear. As a test, he fired a gun in class. He was removed from the school immediately. Originally, Crane used a gun as his primary weapon. Crane eventually became a psychiatrist in Arkham Asylum. He used to perform fear-inducing experiments on the patients in Arkham with his self-made concoctions. If his fear gas is inhaled, it'll force a person to experience their greatest fear. He first used the gas in Batman number 189 in 1967. Only 3 people have built up an immunity to the fear gas: Scarecrow, Batman, and the Joker. Scarecrow had an addiction to fear after he became desensitized to his fear gas. He intentionally pursues Batman because he is the only person that can make Scarecrow experience true fear. He has a pet crow called Caw. Scarecrow likes to taunt Batman with nursery rhymes as he believes it forces people to relive childhood memories, allowing him to prey on childhood fears. His favorite nursery rhyme is "Hush, little baby." When Batman defeated the Scarecrow, he ended up as an inmate, ironically, in Arkham Asylum. The asylum thought it might help Jonathan Crane if he did a lecture like he used to when he was a doctor. It didn't help at all because, he's crazy. Within seconds of his lecture, he infected the entire audience with a hallucinogen. Moral of the story? Just don't let crazy people do lectures. Kinda goes without saying. His fighting techniques are Kung Fu, Crane, and drunken boxing. His name is Crane. People say he looks like Ichabod Crane, and his fighting style is Crane. What the hell are the odds of that? As has been depicted in the game Batman Arkham Knight, Scarecrow wears gloves with syringes built into the fingertips. Each syringe is filled with a fear-inducing chemical. He usually uses farm-based weapons like pitchforks, scythes, and sickles. He has an immunity to Joker's venom. The supervillain Bane gains super strength using a drug called Venom. Scarecrow has used this drug for his own experiments without Bane's permission. I already did a video about Bane. I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you want to check that out. When Batman's sidekick Dick Grayson became Robin, Scarecrow was the first supervillain he faced. Scarecrow suffered from a fear of bats since he was a child. Okay, let's look at depictions of the Scarecrow. Henry Pollock II provides the voice of Scarecrow in Batman the Animated Series.
My revenge is complete. The university is in the grip of fear, and Batman has been annihilated.
I know what you're thinking. He looks pretty silly here. So later in the series, they updated him. Oh, now he looks way better. But then, in the last season, they made him look genuinely terrifying for a children's show. I mean, look at him, he looks freaky. John Noble provides the voice of the Scarecrow in the game Batman Arkham Knight.
Tomorrow, this will seem like child's play. Gotham, this is your only warning.
He's best known for playing Denethor in The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. He is voiced by Robert Englund in the video game Injustice 2.
I bet even you fear drowning.
There are worse ways to die.
Englund is best known for playing Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street. He is played by Cillian Murphy in Batman Begins.
You look like a man who takes himself too seriously. In my opinion, you need to lighten up.
Funny enough, Cillian Murphy didn't actually audition for the Scarecrow, he auditioned for the role of Bruce Wayne. The director, Christopher Nolan, found Cillian Murphy's eyes to be so piercing, he didn't even want him to wear a mask. Which would kind of defeat the whole purpose of being the Scarecrow if he's just a guy wearing a business suit. Luckily, the producers convinced Nolan that Scarecrow had to be masked. As you probably know, Tim Burton directed Batman and Batman Returns. Before he was removed and replaced with Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton was meant to direct the sequel, Batman Forever. He would have had the Scarecrow as the main villain. He would have been played by Brad Dourif. Because Batman and Robin tanked, there was never a sequel, and so the series was rebooted. If there was a sequel, it would have been called Batman Triumphant, and the Scarecrow would have been played by Nicolas Cage. Oh, I'd do anything to see Nicolas Cage as a Scarecrow. What would that even be like?
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
And finally, okay, you might think to yourself, Scarecrow is very intimidating because he's got a fear gas, but it doesn't work on Batman, and he's freaking Batman. So what possible threat does Scarecrow have against Batman? I mean, look at him. He's not going to beat him in a fight, is he? Well, that's the thing. Scarecrow was mutated into a monster by the Penguin to kill off the Penguin's disloyal colleagues. He is so strong, he can easily crush someone to death with his bare hands. This version of Scarecrow is called the Scare Beast. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's any other Batman supervillains you want me to do a video about, and I'll upload it as soon as possible. To learn more facts, check out my books. They're available on Amazon, on paperback, and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.